Welcome to All Things Possible TV. We're excited to have you here with us today for this episode. This episode is Lessons Learned from Having a Gay Family Member. We are excited to have you here, and yeah, we're going to be authentic and real again. It's something that you're probably used to with me because I do share a lot of personal experiences. But we have found in all the help that we've been able to do with other people and with our own experience that there are a lot of things that we would have loved for someone to have given us a little book on. This is what you can do now that you have this fun little lesson to learn, right? A handbook would have been great. Kind of like a parenting handbook would have been great when you become a parent and hand you a book that says, okay, when they do this, give them that. Well, when we had our son come out and tell us that he was gay, there were a lot of things that we did wrong. We shared in the last episode of how I went to guilt, Bill went to fix-it mode, okay, and Blake, of course, ran away, and decided if I can just go for Sunday dinner and we can pretend everything's fine, then great, everything's fine. So, welcome with us, and we're going to jump in and just get authentic and real on the things that we have learned. I'm Kris Barney, my son Blake Barney, and my husband and business partner, Bill Barney. So, we're going to start with Bill, because he is going to let you know some of the things that he found that he could change and do differently. And we're just going to kind of share and just have this open communication between the three of us of the things that we found that you can do differently, or the support you can find, and some of the things that, just those little differences that you can make, like don't be taking such offense to everything that's said. Sometimes it's as easy as that, as trying not to be so easily offended. So, Bill, why don't you tell us some of the things that you've learned through these lessons? I talked the last few weeks on the gifts in our garbage and the things that we've learned and how we've grown. And why don't you start this out for us?
All right. I think the first thing that I've learned is not to take ourselves so serious. That the things that we think are so important right now in this minute, that the whole world revolves around it, give it a few years perspective, and it's not the crisis that maybe it seems in that moment. To just be a little bit gentle with ourselves. The big lesson, I went into fix-it mode first, and yeah, that's understandable. You think that something's wrong, you want to fix it, and you go and try to do all these things to fix it. But for me, if I could say anything to someone who's in that mode, who wants to fix the child, love and accept. Go to love. If anything is going to change a child, if there's any chance that this child is not fully gay, okay, that maybe they have gay tendencies, wherever they are on that scale, if there's any chance they're going to change, I would say it would be with the unconditional love of the parent. The best thing you can do is love them and accept them for who they are, and just love them. That's the biggest thing that I learned. So,
well, and when we say that, we've said there's a lot of different times that love is the key, and it really is the key, and it sounds really easy. Sometimes it's a little bit more difficult. Yeah. And I'm going to have Blake share here in a minute, but sometimes we say love unconditionally, and we do that, and then it's like, oh, well, I want to bring my friends, and my friends been kicked out because their parents don't, want to deal with this, and so I'm bringing all these people, and we're going, okay, how do we do that? How do we unconditionally love and have that? And there were different steps and different processes along the way. The first couple of times that Blake brought a whole bunch of people from college that were in the gay and lesbian community, we were kind of like, okay, great, we're going to have 10 people for dinner, and we're not going to know what to talk about. And it didn't turn out that way. Once we opened our heart and got past that judgment and that idea of what was in our head, we were able to just say, you know what? Most of the people that you brought out have not been accepted by their family. They had been shunned and hurt. They were desperately trying to find where they belonged, where they fit in, and who could love them. And they were wonderful people.
Amazing people. I've been so impressed with the people, and there's something about the sensitivity and the caring and the genuineness of the people that Blake's brought around, that our lives are truly richer because we know these people, because we've opened our hearts to them.
And by opening our hearts, we have gained friendships with people that have been together for years. We have several friends that we've been able to reach out to and to be a liaison for, and to also help them belong in the community, as well as they've helped us along the way. We've made several friendships and relationships in business as well as in our personal lives, to be able to lean on and be like, oh, this is going on, what should we do? Or just joke around and be like, okay, we need comic relief because we never thought we'd be in this position. And just to open up your heart and know that those people are real and that there's nothing wrong. They deserve love. They deserve compassion. Just as real as we are. They deserve to be cared about. They deserve love. And to have they deserve belonging.
In my fix-it mode that I went into, as an energy healer and working with people with any kind of struggles and blockages that they have, I find that many things from childhood, different trapped emotions or experiences that we have cause huge problems later in life. And so that was my angle of attack to fix Blake, was I was going to go in and find every little thing that I could that had caused him to choose this lifestyle. And what I learned along the way, that as I've worked with Blake, and I've even sat down on sessions with his partner, is to just go work with them and help them get rid of the guilt, the self-hate, the loathing, the pain, the fear, to release and let go of that and to accept them for who they truly are. Not with an agenda that they are or are not gay, but that's what's in their heart, to find where that true center is for them and help them find peace with that. And that's been a big change for me as I work with people who deal with any kind of issue, but same-sex attraction too, is I don't have an agenda that they're going to come out of that straight or gay. It's that they're going to come out of it
authentic and organic.
There you go.
And loving themselves.
Thank you.
Having self-love.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So Blake?
One of the things that I learned, and I guess I learned a lot over these last 6 years that I've been out and we've had these discussions, is a lot about patience and understanding from everyone involved. You know, being the individual that came out of the closet, and I am so closely associated with the LGBT community, so many times we shout out that we need to be loved unconditionally, we need people to be patient, we need people to be understanding, and oftentimes, you know, through the Pride festivals or various people's coming out stories, they want to just throw it out there that, hey, I'm gay, you know, I'm here, I'm queer, get over it. And that's just not the way that it goes. You know, there has to be patience and understanding from everyone. And I think that's not just the family that's receiving the news or the individual that's giving the news. Everyone has to work together. You're coming in with two very different views, and you have to be able to take yourself out of your shoes and put yourself in other people's shoes. As much as my family didn't want me, you know,
in my heels.
Yeah. Didn't want me bringing the gay agenda or whatever, didn't want me bringing that into the house and, you know, being that obnoxious, I'm here, I'm queer, get over it. I didn't want them reading scriptures to me. I didn't want them forcing me or even encouraging me to go to church. I simply just wanted us to coexist without trying to change each other. Let's just have dinner. Let's just talk about life. Let's just be together. And it was through that patience that it took time. But it was everybody respecting each other, that nobody was trying to change anyone. We were just trying to spend time together and understand each other and become closer together. And it was through that patience, through that understanding, that we did get closer together. We did become stronger and come out on top. And through that process, and even since then, there's had to be forgiveness, and forgiveness from everyone. I mean, I up and ran away my senior year in high school and left a note on my bed for my 15-year-old sister to find. And that, I had to ask for forgiveness, and my parents had to extend that forgiveness to me because I crossed the line and I was not respectful in how I handled that circumstance. And then on the flip side of the coin, there was things that were said. There was, changing trying to be happened, that forgiveness had to happen on the other direction. So you have to have that patience and understanding of each other, and the humility to be willing to stop thinking for a minute about you and put yourself in the other person's shoes and think about it from their perspective. Because for me, I had from 11 to 18 years old to figure out, am I okay with being gay? And my family, they came out a lot faster than 7 years. It took me 7 years to come to terms, and they came out a lot faster. So have that patience, have that understanding, whether you're the parent, the child, the sibling, the aunt, the uncle, the friend. Have that patience, have that understanding, and have the humility to quit thinking about yourself and think about them and what you can do to support them and understand them.
Well, and we've talked a lot over several episodes, if you've watched regularly, about thinking outside of ourselves. During cancer, during suicide, all the different things that we've talked about, and the different ways that we've mentored and done a lot of our help and our service. And the first step is to get outside of yourself. Start to focus on someone else. It wasn't until I really felt like, for a long time, I went to that guilt, and it was when I started serving other people, and when I was of service, and when I was like, I'm not the only one going through a really hard time. When I could start to go, do you know what? My son might have come out and told me that he's gay, but I know my friend who lost her son in a car accident or a suicide. I knew that there was other people that wouldn't have a chance to embrace that child, to love that child, and to have them be part of the family. I knew there was people that had completely, disowned their children and had not even, really tried to work that through. They didn't know how. And so they just shut down and off with the child. When you actually left, we tried to get him to talk to us. It took a couple of days, and then we actually met in a restaurant where it was common ground, so that he felt safe, we felt safe, and we had this conversation, and was just like, tell us where you're at. And he's like, no, I'm not going to. And we had a pretty good idea where he was. Didn't take long for him to leave that home, because it wasn't the best place for him to be, and go somewhere else. And then it was open communication with, this is where I'm going to be staying, this is what I'm going to be doing. And he graduated high school with honors, and went and did things that were so awesome and incredibly just grown up and mature. And at the same time, kept communication with us to where we were able to talk things through and be able to be a support system for you. Bill, at that point, what kind of advice would you like to give of, if you have a child and they're coming out and telling you this, what would be the best things that you could share with us?
For a child that's coming out, or it's not just a child. Sometimes it's a sibling, an adult sibling. It could be, you could be the child, and it could be a father or a mother that after years, this happens a lot. They've tried and just realized it's not in them to continue a lifestyle, a heterosexual or a lifestyle. And my thing is, again, accept and love. Research, get in support groups, find somebody that can support you. Find somebody that you can trust, that you can lean on. Reach out. These burdens, we're not meant to carry them alone. We're social creatures. So reach out and get people to support you. But most of all, stay away from anger and judgment. Think before you say things. And just love. It's about love. Love, we've said over and over, is the greatest power in the universe. And it's about love. Love heals all, one way or another. So,
yeah, I would say, I would add to that, reach out and find resources. When I was a teenager and going through this, I didn't realize that there was so much discussion. There was so much information out there in this world. And even today, I'm still surprised all the time at the different websites and support groups that I hear about. And they vary, whether you want one that's specific to your religion, or one that's specific to your geographical region, or specific to your age. There's all sorts of different resources out there that can be used. And reach out, because sometimes it's right. Sometimes family isn't there, and family isn't your best source. Reach out to a friend, and if you don't feel that that's there and available for you, start doing some Google researches. Look at what's out there, because there is all sorts of suicide hotlines if you're to that point. There's sources of different types of ways to handle this and learn more about it. Do some research because you're not alone. There's hundreds of thousands of people going through similar circumstances, and there's more and more support groups and information being readily available at everyone's fingertips. Get out there. Don't be scared of it, because it's hard. It's terrifying taking that first step. But start doing some research. Start finding out about yourself. Start finding out about whoever it is that's going through this circumstance, and get some support group. Even if it is people that you haven't met in person, get that support, get some mentoring, get someone to talk to. Because a lot of times you'll find your own answers. You just got to talk out loud. And it's nice to have that person to talk to.
Well, and with the mentoring, Kris does a lot of that with people.
Absolutely.
To help them through these. And sometimes talking to somebody who's gone just a little bit ahead of you can help with incredible insights. I remember thinking, I just want to talk to somebody who's going what I'm going through. And I didn't reach out. I didn't make the effort to find that at the time. We just dealt with it on our own. And it would have been nice to have someone to talk to about
Well, and as we have gotten to those steps, we have become the person that a lot of people have talked to, and they're like, God, you guys are still really close, and you have this great relationship, and like flies in for all these family events, and you guys go to him, and we've been able to do a lot of mentoring and a lot of assistance because of how we've been able to get through things. But absolutely find someone. When we get in fear and we pull back and we withdraw from everyone else, that does not serve us at all. That does not help us gain our own power, our personal power. It doesn't help us with courage. And we start to doubt everything about our life. Mm-hmm. We start to think we're ugly. We're not worth it. Everyone would be better off without me. You go through all of these different cycles, and it's the same cycle that when you get into deep depression, that you want to take your life. You want to commit suicide. You really believe, and you do. It alters your thinking to where you believe everyone would be better off without you. And that is a really harsh process. You need to be able to reach out, talk to someone. We love to be able to help people that are in the middle of this, that have experienced it, that have had a bad situation, and try to work through some of those different situations, because we've actually gotten to a place where we have a very strong relationship. Just this weekend, there was something that was said that could be taken offensively, and one of our things is, hey, can we talk? We got in the car and Blake just said, hey, I just want to bring this up because it's something that could be taken that, we could have feelings over it. And I just listened the whole time, and then I said, okay, and do you see that this is how that started when, we started making these jokes when we were together, and I had no idea it was being taken that way. And we had that open communication, and the minute we'd had this 5-minute, 10-minute ride, it was like, you know what, we're both going to shift a little, meet in the middle, and we're going to make that change so that nobody gets hurt feelings. And it was something that was quite silly.
Yeah, it was something small and silly.
And yet it could be something that over time would really become this little burr in the britches, and it would really cause pain, and it would upset people. And then you don't want to spend time together. The biggest thing about having unconditional love is that we all feel like we belong. In the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the triangle, the third one up is belonging. And that is why when someone comes out and they say, I'm gay, and they're not necessarily accepted by this group over here that's the gay community is going, yay, 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 let's celebrate, come on. And now they belong. And so they feel like, oh my gosh, you guys so get me and everything's so great. Even though this group didn't accept me, you guys are so great, until the newness is worn off. And then pretty soon you have to reach out again, right? And lean on that main support. For us, it's family.
Yep.
And we're there. Yes, he's had friends. Have the friends stayed? Not necessarily all the time. Are they lifelong friends? You're going to find one or two that are. But most of them are in and out of that, and they're trying to belong, and they're not sure. And they're trying to belong, and they're at college this week, and then they're gone. So you need to make sure that you have surround yourself with the right groups that can be there for you long term, and that can also help you short term. Because you do need to belong. There is the need to belong to a group, to a society, to an organization, to where everybody has that respect and everybody has the equality.
So do what you can to provide that belonging. Whether it be your parent, your child, your sibling that's coming out, give them that safe haven, that community to belong. That, yeah, at the end of the day, you may not agree with them. You may not be completely supportive of the lifestyle. But do they belong? Do they still belong as a member to your family? Do they belong at the dinner table? Communicate that, even if it's the simple words of, I want you at the dinner table. I want you here with me, with the kids, with the family. It's given that sense of belonging. You don't have to agree page to page. We still don't agree on everything.
Yeah, believe it or not, he is not smarter than I am.
Yeah, something like that. But we don't agree on everything. But we belong together. We're family. So give the support that you can, because, yeah, as a single individual, you can't give this sense of belonging to all LGBT members. It's impossible. It's unfeasible. But what about that one, that two, that three that you know? Have you called them? Have you invited them to dinner? Have you taken that extra step to involve them? That, yeah, maybe you don't go to the same church. Maybe you don't live remotely close together. Maybe there's little differences and nuances here and there. But have you put yourself out there? Have you made the phone call? Have you sent the text? Because it makes a huge difference. Even if, there was little things. I was living here in the Salt Lake Valley the first few years that I was out, and it was that text message or that phone call, hey, we're going to go catch dinner at this place, or we're going to go to a movie here. Do you want to meet us there? More than half the time I was busy or had other plans, but it gave me that sense of belonging that my family and my siblings still wanted to spend that time with me.
That you want to be together.
Right, absolutely.
That's awesome. Thanks for sharing. We have also got an episode for you next time where we've brought in another family. We're going to be giving you a little bit of a piece of how this looks from two different perspectives, kind of our story, kind of where this has gone. Our family has been religious, and our belief system has been different than Blake's belief system, and that's okay. For a while we weren't sure that was okay, but we are okay with that now. And we have had 6 years to go through this learning phase. We've got lessons that we're learning, but this other family has had similar stories with us. We're going to have the McIntosh family come. We want to be able to help others, to make a difference in people's lives so that love can be what it truly is, unconditional love, and that everyone can feel it, and that everyone can feel respect and know that they are worth it. And so we're going to have that for you. Upcoming episodes will also have other people. We've got a lot of people that have kind of come into this picture with us with similar stories. We've got several different aspects because there's a lot of this out there, and there's a lot of pain, but there can be a lot of happiness. There can be a lot of joy, and there can be a lot of love. So we want to share with you some ways to have that unconditional love, to learn the lessons along the way, and be able to move forward and to all still feel that you are still one family unit.
Yep.
With friends. If you don't have family support, reach out. Go to our website at www.allthingspossible.biz. Again, that's www.allthingspossible.biz. You can go to the tab and email us. You can let us know that, hey, I would love to do a session. I would love to do an energy healing session. I would love to have a mentoring chat and strategy session, something to actually help you to move forward. That's what we want, and that is our goal, because we know that all things are possible for everyone. This has been our journey that has one of our little gifts in our garbage that we've gotten to learn lessons from, and it's been a big journey, but we've been able to get through it and go over that mountain, and we're on the downhill side. We've been able to learn some lessons that have helped us, and we would like to help others. So get with us, email us, and if you haven't joined our website, join to get our newsletter. We send out tips every week, and you get these videos. So join our website at www.allthingspossible.biz. Again, www.allthingspossible.biz, and we'll see you next week when we have the McIntosh family, and we let you know how both families have gone through this and can help others. So thanks for being here, and we'll see you next time on All Things Possible. you.